Hello, dear students. Welcome back to the class. Today we are going to discuss chapter 5, A Hero. In this chapter, we will see the life of Swaminathan, who became a hero at the end of the story. Let us begin the chapter. Are you afraid of the dark? Do you sleep alone at night? Read this story to find out what happened when a 10-year-old boy was asked to sleep alone in a dark room at night. Let us begin the story. Father looked over the newspaper. He was reading and said, Swami, listen to this. News is at hand of the bravery of a village lad who, while returning home by the jungle path, came face to face with a tiger. The story begins like this. The father of Swaminathan is reading newspaper and he had seen a news there. And the news is about a small boy. Here it is mentioned a village lad. The word meaning lad means a small boy. So actually he was going back to his home and he was going through the jungle. And it was dark and finally he came face to face with a tiger. Let us see what happened to him. The paragraph described the fight the boy had with the tiger and his flight up a tree, where he stayed for half a day till some people came that way and rescued him. In the news, it was described that the boy was fighting with the tiger and finally somehow he managed to get over a tree and he stayed there for half a day. Finally, some other villagers came through that way and saved or rescued this child. After reading it through, Father looked at Swaminathan and asked, What do you say to that? Swaminathan said, I think he must have been a very strong and grown up person, not at all a boy. How could a boy fight a tiger? So after reading the newspaper, Father asked the opinion of the child Swaminathan, the son Swaminathan. Then Swaminathan was telling that he may not be a boy, he may be a grown up and strong person. Because a small boy cannot fight with a tiger. That was the argument of Swaminathan. Then Father, you think you are wiser than the newspaper? Father sneered. A man may have the strength of an elephant and yet to be a coward. Whereas another may have the strength of a straw, but if he has courage, he can do anything. So Father was trying to tell that sometimes the person may be a big man with muscles or even the size of an elephant, but he may be coward. That means he may not be strong enough to even to look at others. At the same time, there can be persons, those who may be small in size, not with very strong muscles, but he may be very strong. He will be courage enough to fight with anyone. That is what Father said. Swami disputed the theory. How can it be, Father? Suppose I have all the courage. What can I do if a tiger should attack me? So Swaminathan is just a 10 years old boy. And then Swaminathan is saying that I'm a very small boy. Even though I have very strong courage, a strong mind, then how can I fight with a tiger? Dear students, Swaminathan and the boy who fought with the tiger and the students of class 6 are in the same age. Dear students, you may just imagine, while you met with a tiger, will you be courage enough to fight with the tiger? Let us continue. Leave alone strong. Can you prove you have courage? Let me see if you can sleep alone tonight in my office room. So Father is putting a challenge towards Swaminathan and he is asking to Swaminathan, just forget about the strength. Do you have courage? If you have courage, then you sleep at my office room tonight. Tonight means today night. A frightful idea, Swaminathan thought. Swaminathan thinking that this is not a good thing because he is afraid of the things, afraid of the dark. He had always slept beside his granny, and any change in this arrangement kept him trembling and awake all night. What happens is that Swaminathan is in a habit to sleep with the granny. If something happens, if he is not sleeping with the granny, then the entire night will be collapsed. He may not be able to sleep that night. And he will be trembling. That means he will be shivering the entire night because of fear. Let us go further, page number 50. He hoped that his father was only joking. He mumbled weakly, yes, and tried to change the subject. So what Swaminathan said that, yes, he said yes, and then he tried to change the subject. Then he said, from the first of next month, I will sleep alone, Father. So Swaminathan says that from the next month, the first day onwards, I will be sleeping alone. Then Father, no, you must do it now. It is disgraceful sleeping beside granny or mother. You are in the second from now, he said and looked at his wife, who was rocking the cradle. Why do you look at me while you say it? She asked. I hardly know anything about the boy. That means father had taken a very strong decision, and he said that sleeping with the mother or granny is a very bad thing. It is disgraceful. You should be courage enough, and you should have the courage to sleep today onwards alone at my office room. The father was very strong in his decision. Let us go further. Swaminathan rose silently and tiptoed away to his bed in the passage. Granny was sitting up in her bed and remarked, Boy, are you already feeling sleepy? Don't you want a story? Swaminathan made a wild gesticulation to silence his granny, but that good lady saw nothing. So what happened is that day, Swaminathan was early to the bed, and he came tiptoed, something like stealthily he came to Granny in order to sleep. Then Granny was asking, are you feeling sleepy today? And today you are feeling sleepy very early. So don't you want a story? Should I say a story? Then Swaminathan made a gesticulation. That means a movements done by hands and arms to attract attention or make somebody understand what one is saying. So Swaminathan does not want to make even a single noise that his father will be knowing that he has gone to the bed. Actually, Swaminathan doesn't want to sleep at his father's room, office room. He wants to sleep with Granny. That's why he came. Swaminathan threw himself on his bed and pulled the blanket over his face. Granny said, Don't cover your face. Are you really very sleepy? Then Granny was saying it louder. Swaminathan leant over and whispered, Please, 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 Granny, don't talk to me. I don't let anyone call me even if the house is on fire. If I don't sleep at once, I shall perhaps die. So what happens is that Swaminathan doesn't want to make even a single noise from Granny. If Granny is speaking to Swaminathan, then the father will hear, then the father will come and the father will ask him to sleep at his office room. Swaminathan want to just escape from that. So that's why he says to Granny, please, please don't talk. Even if the house isn't on fire, don't call me. And then Swaminathan says that if I didn't sleep now, then I will be dying. He turned over, cuddled, and began snoring under the blanket till he found his blanket pulled away. Then he suddenly started to sleep, and he was pretending, he was acting like sleeping. Then somebody pulled away his blanket. That was none other than the father. Swami, get up, father said. Swaminathan strayed and groaned as if in sleep. Granny pleaded, Why do you disturb him? Then Granny was asking to father, Why do you disturb him? Get up, Swami, he said again, and Swaminathan got up. Father rolled up his bed, took it under his arms, and said, Come with me. So somehow father made him to wake up, and finally father had taken the bed and rolled up and took it under his arms and said, Come with me. Obviously we know that father is taking Swaminathan towards his office room. Swaminathan looked at his granny, hesitated for a moment, and followed his father into the office room. On the way, he threw a look of appeal at his mother. So, as Swaminathan is moving to his father's office room, he was asking or looking at granny and mother for some appeal. He wants mother or granny to speak with father, not to sleep at his office room. She said, Why do you take him to the office room? He can sleep in the hall. Then mother is requesting to father, Why do you take him to the office room? Let him sleep in the hall. I don't think so, father said, and Swaminathan slunk behind him with bowed head. Let me sleep in the hall, father, he pleaded. Your office room is very dusty and there may be scorpions behind your law books. So Swaminathan says that your office is very dusty and there are a lot of books kept there, and behind that there will be scorpions. So I can't sleep there. Then father says, there are no scorpions, little fellow. Sleep on the bench if you like. Can I have a lamp burning in the room? No, you must learn not to be afraid of darkness. It is only a question of habit. Will you at least leave the door open? All right, but promise you will not roll up your bed and go to your granny's side at night. If you do it, mind you, I will tell everyone in your school. Swaminathan felt cut off from humanity. He was pained and angry. He didn't like the strain of cruelty he saw in his father's nature. He hated the newspaper for printing the tiger's story. Here Swaminathan is literally pleading to father. Father, at least may I keep a lamp? Father said, no. Then may I open the door? Okay, you can open the door, but only with one condition. You shall not go to granny at night. If you are going, then I will tell this story to all your friends at school. Finally, Swaminathan is trapped. He cannot do anything. He was cursing the newspaper writer and the story about tiger. He wished that the tiger had inspired the boy who didn't appear to be a boy after all, but a monster. Right now, the boy who attacked with the tiger is like a monster for Swaminathan. So that is actually what he says. As the night progressed, his heart beat faster. He remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts he had heard in his life. So, as the night increases, he was thinking about the devils, all the stories that he heard. So, dear students, I stop for today. It's a very interesting story, and we will continue the remaining part of the story in the next class. Dear students, I request you all to read the chapter, note down the important words, difficult words, find out its meaning, and write it in your copy and learn it by heart. Have a nice day. God bless you all.